So when we started the podcast with the idea of given Ronnie came to me with this idea and he was like, "Hey, I want to be able to give people the opportunity to get to meet the person behind the sign, right?" And he was like, "Let's start a podcast, bro." And I was like, "Okay, like, all right." And that very next day, I called Ulises. So Ulises here has taken care of the STBA marketing and anything that have to do with media since I came into the picture as the EO.
Mm-hmm.
And he was somebody that was presented to me by Julio Carranza. So I needed somebody because, I mean, I don't have time to do any of this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I really don't. And Julio was like, "I know this kid. He's great at what he does." And that's how this whole thing came together. And one day we ended up going and we bought all the equipment. And who would have thought that 67 pot or 66, this is number 67. And we're very grateful to have Mr. Reyna here with us today. And we would be sitting here. And, you know, Ronnie's running a little late. He'll be here a little later for the podcast. As we all know, Ronnie's extremely busy, just like Mr. Reyna. And thank you for making time.
Well, no, thank you for inviting me. I think this is very special to have a podcast for the construction industry, especially like us that we're in the home building and retail as well. So thank you for having me. So I want to share, I guess, a little bit of what we do.
Yes, please.
Who we are.
Yes, because and I'm sorry to cut you off there, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we were publicizing for your podcast and for your flyer is that, well, one, that you're the owner of Reyna Homes, you know, that you're a builder, but you're also the owner of Riverside, right?
Yes.
So Riverside Materials. So that within itself, you don't see that very often. You don't see a builder and then the builder become the supplier.
Yes, right? It's not too common, right?
I mean, I like it though. That's a great concept.
Yes.
How did that even happen?
Well, you know, I've always we started first with a construction company in 2001, right? I'm a first generation builder, business owner. And so my parents weren't business people. They weren't into construction. I didn't have any family members, no uncles, no brothers. No, it was just, you know, I started at a very young age. I think when we formed our, I'm sorry.
That's Eddie. No, you're fine.
Hi, Eddie. How are you doing? And so early on, when I was in my early 20s, I didn't know what to do. You know, school wasn't my thing, right?
Okay.
And I got married pretty young. I was 21 when I got married, and my wife was 21, very, very young, man. Yeah, I didn't know how to be a husband or a father. You know, by 22, I was a dad already. So my wife was younger than me, 3 years younger, and so here I am. You know, with no talent, broke pretty much. No skills, and decided not to pursue college. Right.
Right.
So it was a pretty tough time, to say the least. Right. And so
in those times, Mr. Reyna, you're young. You got married. How old were you when you became a father?
22.
22. You became a father. What were you doing at that time? Like,
I was working in a local store in Rio Grande, right?
Okay.
And then unfortunately they fired me.
Okay.
So, that's a whole different story. But it was a blessing in disguise, and I'll explain why. Right. So here I am. I don't have a job. You know, I have a small family. I'm very young, and I have nothing really going for me. Right. And you know, I would always think, you know, well, you know, what am I gonna do? You know, I haven't discovered my passion yet. I was very young, right? I knew the idea of going to college wasn't really my thing. I wanted to go out there to the world and start working and start making some money and start providing for my family, you know. But it was easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
So we one day I got a job offer with a nonprofit organization, and that turned to be decisive factor or event in my life that changed the course and the reason I'm here right now doing what we're doing.
Wow.
Yeah, and so this nonprofit organization was a nonprofit organization from a local nonprofit from Rio Grande, and they had a small division for to renovate. What they did, the services that they provide, they provided renovations for low income families. Right?
Okay.
So I was hired to assist the program director. And so that was my introduction into the world of construction, right?
Wow.
And as soon as I went in there and I started interacting with subcontractors and with general contractors and with providers, I said, this is what I want to do. This is it. I had that spark in me, you know.
Right,
In the
right.
previous jobs that I had, I didn't like it, you know. I was there just because I needed a paycheck.
Right.
So I was very blessed for that job, that opportunity, and so that's how I got the introduction into the construction business industry, and it was very cool. I loved it, you know, because I was hanging around and interacting with trades and general contractors, and I remember asking one of the general contractors back then, well, how much do you clear a week or a month, you know. And that information is very.
Oh yeah.
They don't share it, right? We don't.
For sure.
And they go, and they were small contractors, mind you. They weren't large contractors. They were small local contractors participating in that program. And I remember one of them sharing, whoa, you know, I clear about 700-800 a week. And I said, whoa, you know, that's what I want to do. That's it. You know, this is what I want to do. And so I worked there with that organization, and I was just like a sponge, you know, just learning the trade and just it was awesome. I loved it. I didn't feel like a job at all, you know, because I was doing what I want, what I like.
How old were you then?
I was in my early. Well, I was around 25, 24, 25. Still very young.
So yeah, it hit you young.
Yeah. Still very young. And after a few years, I get a call from a gentleman that it was the CEO of this company, that it was also a nonprofit organization, molded basically the same as the organization that I was currently working with at that time.
What was the name of the organization?
The real organization was from Rio Grande, was Community Action Council of South Texas, and they're no longer in existence. I believe that they went bankrupt or something like that. So that we don't have that organization in our community anymore.
Right. Okay.
So I get a call from this gentleman, and this other organization was called Community Resource Group.
Okay.
And this organization was pretty much a step up from where I was working. This organization was not from Stark County; it was from Arkansas.
Oh wow!
And so, but basically, they operated based on government funding and government grants, right?
Wow!
And this new organization had just received several $1 million, you know, to strictly to spend in Stark County, and strictly to build entry-level homes, to buy land, to build small homes, and they would do in-house financing.
Wow.
You know, so I get a call from the CEO, the guy in charge of that company. He invited me to lunch, and we had lunch. He goes, well, would you come and would you like to work for us? You know, we kind of heard that you're kind of doing the same thing with this other nonprofit, you know, and we don't know anybody in the area. We don't know any contractors. And I think, you know, we want to offer you that job position. And I go, well, yeah. So he explained to me the purpose of the program. And it was a step up, because in the other one we were doing renovations, and in this one we were focused solely on building new homes, right? Entry-level homes.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, you know, he shared the pay, and it was double of what I was getting paid with the other organization. So I said, absolutely, you know.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. And so I had a few years under my belt learning the process of renovating homes, right?
Excuse me.
With the first organization.
What's the organization that was from Arkansas? What's the name of that one?
That organization is called, I believe they changed their name already, but back then it was called Community Resource Group.
Community
out
Resource
of Arkansas,
Group.
yeah.
Cool.
It was also a nonprofit, and so yeah, I signed up and we started working with them. And my title changed. And now I wasn't an assistant. Now I was in charge. I was the construction superintendent for that company,
Wow.
and that's how I got my feet wet and involved in new construction. And I loved it. I loved it even more so than doing renovations,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And so between those two companies that I work for, I probably put in around 7 years, I believe. And for me, that was my school.
Oh, to say it was like your
my
school.
my university,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
learned everything. I was just like a sponge, learning and learning and learning the trade. And I discovered my passion. That's what I love doing.
Yeah.
And then after a few years, I started getting the itch to, well, I said, well, I can manage this. It's pretty cool, and I think I can start my own business. And so now it took me a while to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, to take that leap. Because it's a leap.
Yeah,
It's a leap.
yeah, it is a leap,
Yeah.
and because you're accustomed to dependent on a fixed check, right?
Yeah.
And you make your entire living off of that check, and it's very scary, not to have that security.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a decision that it was from 1 week to the next or 1 month to the next. It took me several months before I could muster the courage to take that step and say, you know what, I'm going on my own. But
Right.
eventually I did. It was a very scary decision, to say the least. And eventually I did, and we started our own business. And, well, in a few months, I was already making what they were paying me with my employer, right?
Right.
And after a year or so, I was probably tripling what I was making, and
Right.
And then from there on, it was just a growth, and
For sure.
yeah, and so that's how I got started, and
But you know what, Mr. Reyna? Your story on how you're like, it was my university, it was my school. School wasn't something that I was interested in and stuff. I don't think, and I could say that a lot of people that are in this industry and a lot of people that have had a lot of success in this industry, necessarily college wasn't for them.
mhm,
I myself went to college. I didn't graduate. I left college my senior year, and it was one of those things where if I would have graduated and if I would have gotten that job that I was supposed to pursue, which now my brother has that job, right? My brother did graduate. He's doing great, full professional in engineering, natural gas, all this good stuff. I know he doesn't like it.
mhm,
I know he doesn't. And to me, it's like I took a gamble. I got out of school, and my parents were not very happy with that. And my dad and my mom were like, "Well, you're not gonna come back, and you're not gonna work for us. You're making this decision of leaving school. You're gonna have to figure it out, and we're not gonna help you," because they were disappointed that I left school. So I went and I did what everybody else does. I went and I worked up the pipeline, and I did that for a while. And it wasn't something that I liked. Obviously, I felt disappointed. I was like, I don't like this. I grew up with mom and Ruben, with dad, and around the construction my whole life. I was the kid picking up trash. I was the kid, hey, we're going to go pick up this material, whatever. This is the house that you're in charge of, sitting down in model homes, all that good stuff. And as I got older, dad was like, you're not going to work for me. Like, we had the opportunity to go to college. You threw that away. But I always felt like college, in a weird way, at least for me, it was something that I could never just sit in class and watch and absorb the information, as opposed to where when I'm at a job site with this man, the framer, with Israel, the framer that you're so kind in sending my way, I'm there and I'm watching this guy line out the house the day that he did start the job, right? And that's the shit I like.
exactly.
Being there and having this relationship with your people, to where it's like, you will never find that in any school.
No,
You're never going to find it.
there's no university or school that teaches you that, to have that interaction. I mean, you have to do it in the out there in the private sector, in the market. And yeah, I mean, I agree. In my case, I didn't have the patience to go to school, not because I couldn't, or I didn't have smarts to go to school. It's just simply that I didn't have the patience to go through a career of 4, 5, or 6 years.
No,
right?
for sure.
And I wanted to go out there, and start doing something, And the fact of the notion of me waiting 4 or 5 years was I just couldn't, right? For a lot of people, that's the way to go, right? And I'm very respectful for that. But
it's the normal, right? That's the normal. You go to high school. After high school, automatically you go to college. I necessarily, I have cousins and all this good stuff that we're all getting older, and then there's cousins that are going to college. My mom had 3 boys. The youngest one is in medical school right now at University of Houston. Now that guy was built for school.
Yeah.
Like that guy is not like me and the one in the middle or the other.
Exactly.
You can't throw that guy.
Some of us are just not built for that, right? Yeah. And like you and I would imagine in the industry here, there's a bunch of people like us, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, and so it's normal to automatically go to college, and that is great because there's people that are built for that. As opposed to how you said, like, I couldn't. And that's how I always felt. I always felt like it's wasting my time. Like, I don't know why I always felt like that. Now, because of circumstances in life and where I went and everything, somehow, I ended up here, right? Yeah. I was a member. Like I've said before, I was just a member. But I had pride in something that was new. And I also had pride in, and I put that up there. I don't know if y'all can see that on the camera, but that up there is a certificate of occupancy that we got for a house that we built for a veteran in Donna. And it was my time to renew my membership, and I was like, I want to know where this house is at.
No, absolutely. You guys have done a great job with the SCBA, and man, it's an honor to be part of it.
No, dude, it's an honor to have you.
And I mean, it's been a long journey. To get to.
So you took the leap.
Yes, we took the leap. Yeah, and before the housing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Question: How many years How many years have you been building as a construction?
25
company?
years.
25
years.
So just so everybody knows, we have a person that's seen ups and downs throughout the whole market.
We've seen it all. We've seen it all in the last couple of decades. And actually, where I was going at is that in 2008 we had the market crash.
Yeah,
remember it was horrible. It was devastating. It didn't affect us, and we were kind of insulated from the recession and the market crash, because a year prior to the market crash, we bidded on a government program called the Weatherization Program, which was based here in FAR, and it covered service almost 7 counties.
Wow! And
that also a nonprofit that was providing those kind of services, and the purpose of this program was to weatherize the homes to make them more energy efficient. So they were small to medium-sized renovations. And so we bid it in 2007, I believe. And so we won the bid, right? For 2 years with Reyna Homes, with my company, right?
Okay.
And so at that time, it was pretty good because we had this contract. It was a steady contract for 2 years. It was the bid. And then we were doing renovations in the private sector. And then we were also doing small entry-level homes new construction in the private sector as well.
But that's a blessing.
Yes, it was. I mean, we had, 3 sources of income per se, So, but we were still small, right? And so in a year after that, in 2008, we had the market crash. And everything just stopped.
How bad was that?
It was pretty bad. I mean, it devastated a lot of builders. A lot of builders went out of business. I mean, I don't know. My estimation is out of 10 builders, 6, 7 builders went out of business.
That's
probably.
What my dad tells me.
Yeah,
my dad's like, dude, it was bad.
It was bad, yeah. And
and what do you think it was, Mr. Reyna? What do you think it was that made it so bad? Was it just like what is your perspective on it? It's like, obviously them going out of business, right? But how did that whole situation happen?
Well, I think in part it was the subprime mortgage loans that they were issuing, and they were lending to anybody that had a pulse, pretty much. you know, and that had a ramification. I mean, at some point it was going to crash, and nobody believed. Everybody was building, and you didn't need to. You if you had a minimum wage job with a 500 credit score, you could qualify for a house.
Imagine that today.
Yeah, no. That yeah, it's just crazy. And so it went on for several years until in 2008 it completely crashed, right? And so banks were not lending anymore; they went bust. And so in our case, the homes that we were building at that time, that ended, and the renovations we had a hit there, but we still had this other government program that was not affected because there were federal funds.
Right.
So it was not affected by the private sector, right?
Right.
And so that kept us going. And I remember in 2 years later, I think Obama, which was the president at that time, injected a massive stimulus package into the economy. And a lot of federal programs received millions of dollars, right? And it so happened that this particular program that we were working with received $20 million in budget to weatherize homes. So it was a program on steroids.
Wow.
And we had 2 years to spend that. At that point, they brought in more companies, right? Because one company wouldn't be able to
take care of all
the renovations. There were so many renovations, right, that we had to do on a weekly basis. So that kept us going, and we didn't feel the effect, right, fortunately. So what that did is that it kept us in the front line. While many builders went out of business, we were there. We had a presence, right?
Right.
Maybe not in the private sector, but we were there.
Yep.
And
the sign is still in the faces of people. There's construction going on. There's still movement.
Yeah, and so after a couple of years, the funding dried up, right? And after a couple of years of that, but by that time, the banks started loosening up and started lending again.
How many years do you think?
It took from 2008. I think they started lending after a year and a half or 2 years. It took about 2 years.
That's 2 years.
That's a long time, If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken, but I think it was a couple of years, because our contract was from 2010 all the way to 2008 all the way to 2010 or 11, when the funds with this contract that we had dried up. That's when banks started lending again, and so we were there.
That's
and
awesome.
So by default, we were getting calls from people, wanting a home, right? And so from 2010, 2011, it was all new construction. We quit the federal program, the contract that we had, and we just started focusing on new construction. From 2010 all the way to 2019, 9 years of no interruptions, of just steady growth.
Just imagine.
Yes. It was pretty cool. 9 years of low inflation, 1.5%, 2% inflation on a yearly basis. Everything steady. Materials were steady. Prices of constructions, it would vary just a little bit from 1 year to the next. It wasn't that dramatic. There was a lot of demand, So for 9 consecutive years, we were just Reyna Homes was just growing and growing and growing and growing, right?
Right.
And so fortunately, because of our consistency, we were able to become one of the top builders in our community, right? In Stark County. Up until 2020, when COVID hit. And
that was another obstacle.
That was another obstacle, a whole different deal.
How did that affect you in any way?
When I remember it happened 2020, March of 2020. That's when it hit. And then after
Did you ever get it?
What?
COVID?
No.
Did you ever get the shot?
I mean, I got the shot. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't say it with pride either. I got
I wish I hadn't, right?
Yeah,
but
same.
it was a little bit scary. Everybody was getting it. The government was telling you that you needed to get it, and so everybody got it, right?
I wasn't gonna get it.
Yeah.
But my mom, shout out to my mom on this one. My mom was like, if you don't get the shot, I'm not going to go around. I'm not going around you. And she was all paranoid. Pobrecita, she was going through it. and I got it. And now to this day, I'm like, I got it because of you. Like
Yeah.
you're the reason I got it. But I'll never
Yeah.
forget it when when COVID started happening. I had told my parents, I had told Ruben, I had told my mom, guys, there's this thing called COVID, and they're shutting people in their houses in China. It's really bad, and I'll never forget it. It was around Thanksgiving time
Mhm.
when this started being televised, right? And I was living in Laredo, and when it hit the fan, I called Dad. Well, before it hit the fan, I told Dad, we were sitting at my uncle's house. I'm like, there's this COVID thing, and they're shutting stuff down in China. He looked me straight in the face and he was like, Mario, China is a communist country. That will never happen here. That's what he
Wow.
told me, right? This is real. He'll listen to this.
Yeah.
So he tells me that pasó Thanksgiving, and I don't remember exactly what date, but when they started shutting things down, he was the first person to tell me, like, dude, you told me that this was happening. And when it happened, at least at the time in Laredo, it was something so surreal because you go to HEB and you're used to just like walking in,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, everyone's saying to stock up on stuff, right? Luckily for us, my brother had killed a cow and we had all this meat,
Yeah,
and
meat and all that.
we were okay. But I mean, like your everyday toiletries and stuff like that, that was bad, dude.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
bad.
No, it was a scary time. You know, nobody knew what was going. A lot of uncertainty, and for us in the construction industry or every business for that matter, it was pretty tough.
It was crazy,
It was
right?
pretty tough. When that happened, I remember that they shut down everything, but we had about, I think, 35, 40 homes under construction at different stages. So now what do we do, you know?
For sure.
So we were one of the industries that were allowed to continue working. And so
Right.
we made the decision to continue pushing, you know, and
How
and-
did the influx of pricing affect you?
well, at that time, you know, those contracts were fixed, and the materials were steady. You know, it wasn't until 2021 that we got hit with inflation.
Right.
So when they shut it down, in our case, what we did is that we just started, we just continued moving forward in finishing those contracts that we had, right? And then they opened the economy back again. I think after 4 or 5 months after that.
It was a while that they had us.
Yes,
They would
it was 4 to
release
5.
And,
Yeah.
and it's gonna sound like really
Yeah.
bad, but they would release us and then they'd bring us back.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? It was
yeah.
weird.
So we were working throughout the shutdown. We had and banks banks were paying you
Uh-huh.
as we were moving along the construction, and until we finished all those homes, and then they opened the economy back again. And I remember we had an influx of. I mean, we couldn't keep up with the demand. A lot of people just. Calling to set up appointments because they wanted a new home. So I said, you know what? Well, I think the worst is behind, right? The worst is behind. We pulled it off. Everybody pulled it off, you know, and so we just had we just created a pipeline of new clients, you know, a big pipeline of new clients. And so everything was fine. We finished the year 2020. And 2021, that's when that tsunami in the form of inflation just hit everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And that was very tough, even tougher than COVID.
Why do you
Business-wise, right?
why did that happen? Do you kind of have an idea why it
Oh,
happened? Just
I
for the
don't-
people listening a little bit, do you kind
Uh-huh.
of have an idea of like
I don't
where that-
I don't have the right explanation. I don't know why that happened, to be honest.
Do you think it
I
was
don't-
like
I don't
COVID?
well, I mean, it had to do with COVID, and they were production was backed up, and also factories weren't producing at 100% because remember there was a distance that you had to be around certain people. All those regulations continued throughout 2020 and 2021, right?
Right.
So it wasn't mills weren't producing at the rate they were supposed to be producing,
right.
and so that all of that had an effect
The
in
mills,
the inflation. The mills,
The transport.
trucking, manufacturing, for example, windows, doors, they were at at 35-40% capacity. So now we had a lot of demand and no production, no product. and that was one of the reasons, you know.
Imagínate. Just imagine that. Like,
Yeah,
you know what's so
yeah,
crazy,
and
Mr.
it's
Reyna? Do you think if it ever, well, what's to say it won't happen again tomorrow, right? But do you think people would actually listen this time? Or you think they'll be like, we're just moving forward, bro? Like,
I think, well, we
because
all learned.
it was a test.
We all learned. I mean, I think, you know, I think now we're gonna be a little bit more brave. I think we're gonna be. I think things will move forward. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult to listen
See,
to all these you know, regulations that they put, right.
yeah,
But yeah, it you know, we got hit pretty good with inflation, and again at that time we had about 35, 40 homes also under construction with a fixed contract, and prices were escalating like crazy. Before the inflation, we were buying OSB at $7, $8, and towards the end, at the highest point of inflation, a sheet of OSB was costing you $58 to $60 per sheet, right?
Now, somebody that's been in the industry for a while, how many sheets of OSB do you kind of put into a house?
On an average home, 2,000, you're looking at around 200 sheets of OSB.
So do the math of an OSB. If you're spending seven, so let's say you're spending $7,
200 times 50.
200 times 50.
Yeah,
That's crazy,
that's
right?
and none of that was contemplated for when you gave that contract and you
Exactly.
signed that contract, and that was just OSB. All the lumber, all the dimensions in lumber, 2x6s and 2x4 increased as well.
Imagínate.
It was very, very tough, you know, for a lot of builders, and I know that again it hit us so hard that a lot of builders went out of business as well.
Right.
And and some of us, you know, weathered it out, like in our case, but it was different. It was difficult because it was a decision that again, it was a very tough decision to say, because we had two options. Like in my case,
Okay.
we had the option of saying, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel, and I can't, you know, and cop out and leave all those 35 or 40 families with their homes
Unfinished.
unfinished, under construction. Of course, you know, that wasn't an option for me. You know, I couldn't. And people close to me, a lot of people would say, you know, hey, you know what, you don't know where this is going to end. You know, you might have to put all your savings into finishing these homes, and you're still going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And so that was one option, right? And the second option was continue to move forward and hope for the best, and hope that the inflation was going to stop at some point and start regressing again back to normal prices, right? But
For the people that don't know, Mr. Reyna, the reason that he really only had those two options is because, how you said, your contract was already fixed.
our contracts were fixed, and that was very common because for the last 20 years or 30 years, there was any need to put escalation clauses on materials, right?
Right.
Because, you know, things were always pretty steady, right?
Yes, sir.
And so we weren't used to using those clauses,
And
right?
just like that, it happened like
and it
overnight.
just happened just like that. So now
Yeah.
here we are, you know, of no fault on our own, of anyone in the industry, something that you can't control. Now, what do? You know, now do we cut our losses and, you know, just quit, or we push forward and hope for the best, right? There was no guarantee that the price of OSB was going to stop at $60 a sheet. It could have been 80, it could have been 100. Nobody knew.
Right.
Lumberyard City knew, Mill City knew. No expert in construction knew where this was going to end.
Right.
So I remember very clearly, I had a meeting with my, we got together in our office, my wife and I, and I go, this is where we're at, you know. These are our options, you know. And you know what? I can't live quitting, you know. And so the other option is to move forward, and there's no guarantee. You know, our company can overextend.
Another gamble.
Yeah. But you know what? I told my wife, you know, I'd rather go bankrupt, but try at least, you know, and make every effort possible on my end. And if we overextend and if we go bust, I can live with that because I gave it all, right?
Right.
And my wife said, you know what, I trust you. I trust your instincts, and I'm with you. Let's move forward. What we were trying to do, forget about making money. You know, we weren't making money. We were breaking even on some homes, and on some homes we were putting money already earned in our working capital fund back injecting into this project to finish this project.
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
And so we made the decision to move forward. All along, the banks and the homeowners had no clue in the predicament that we're in. This is the first time I share this story publicly.
No,
right?
I love it. I love it.
And so we pushed forward, and I said, well,
But it's the real deal.
it's a real thing,
Yeah.
And just like me, I'm sure throughout the valley and throughout the state, there was a lot of people that had to make these tough decisions, right? Some of them decided not to continue. Others made the decision to continue, like we did, with no guarantee, right? We still could go bankrupt and lose all the money that we had saved, right? So it was a big gamble, right? And so we decided to push forward. And I remember in our office, we put a big board, and we put all 40 homes that we had under committed under our obligation to finish. And one by one, we were just 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15. And, I would get excited, as that list was going down, until we came up to zero. We finished every single home, and we didn't overextend ourselves, And
Wow.
and that was, I felt when we finished, I felt so good. It's a feeling hard to describe, but it also gave me a lot of courage and a lot of confidence.
No, sí,
If we were able to pull this off, if we were able to overcome 2008, and we were able to overcome COVID, right, the shutdown, and now we're able to overcome inflation, and get out of this tough situation that we were in, I mean, what else can the economy throw at you that you can't overcome, right?
Right.
So it gave me that confidence and that courage on a personal level, and also on a professional level as well. And it felt so good, that we decided to do the right thing, and we handed over each key to every home, without increasing the price, not to a single client.
But you know what, Mr. Reyna, that says a lot about you, because to have and I'm gonna say how it is, to have the balls and just be like, all right, like, I'm gonna move forward with this. I made a commitment. I'm gonna finish every project, whether I see something in it or not. I mean, I think I believe in life's test, and I believe that life will test you in certain different ways throughout our lives, right? And maybe that was a test.
Yeah. It I think it was, and I think in us, doing the right thing and thinking of our homeowners, because I thought, what are these families going to do with the home unfinished, and who's going to come and finish it, for them, right? I mean, there was nobody out there that wanted to touch a home.
And then how do you even come back from that? Vamos a decir that you don't finish the home.
Well, you don't. That's the thing. The other thing is that if we didn't pursue it, aside from not doing the right thing, and we would be radioactive completely. I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking if we would have copped out of not finishing those homes. As simple as that. We would have been radioactive with all the banks. Nobody would touch us. Right. And how do you, like you said, how do you even come back after that? And now that sets a precedent in me or in our company that when things get tough, you quit.
Would you advise? And I mean, every business owner is very different, right? Mm-hmm. And every business owner knows exactly how they're running their business or what they're doing and all that stuff. But I mean, there should be some sort of safety capital.
Absolutely.
For a business, right?
One of the things that helped us was that we had a cushion, of course, right? Over the years, we would put money away to not depend solely on banks for funding. So we funded a lot of our projects, right? Over the year, we were disciplined to put money away. So one of my advices to young builders that are starting, it's very important that you put money away. If we didn't have put money away, even if I wanted to continue, I wouldn't be able to continue.
True.
And that decision that we made early on, years before, allowed us to have that working capital to
be disposed
to be able to inject into these projects, that were not profitable anymore, right? Yeah. And to keep the company going. And so, one of the things that we did is that we preserved the reputation of our company, right? And again, all along, nobody knew what we were going through. You know, on the outside, everything looked like perfect. These guys are not having any trouble. These guys are fine and dandy. Well, it wasn't like that. it was pretty bad. It felt sick to your stomach. To know
Yeah.
So basically, what happened is that we worked without making money 2020 because we barely covered expenses. Because of COVID, it disrupted the production.
Right.
And so therefore, I mean, you're not going to be able to make the money like a normal year, right?
Right.
And then in inflation, well, we didn't make any money. We were just trying to survive again. So 2 years without making money,
Right.
just working, just to keep things going, right? To
Right.
conserve your company, hoping that there's going to be better, hoping that the following year is going to be better, right?
Right.
And for us, it turned out, I mean, we overcame that obstacle. We finished all the homes, and that was 2021. We finished the year, and we had a brand new pipeline of homes in production, and everything was fine. At the end, we finished good, and then 2022. Here comes 2022, and we had the challenge of high interest rates, but it was nothing compared to the previous 2 years.
Well,
Right?
see, there's no way.
There was no way, and so what happened with that is that in my case in 2022, I remember the 1st of January, I got up, and I usually the first day of the year, I like to either go for a jog or go for a walk. I don't like to drink the day before and then have a
Right.
hangover.
Yeah.
It's the first of the year, the first day of the year. So that's a very important day of the year,
Right.
So I like to go out there, walk, ponder, think, and
Set the precedence for
exactly
the rest of the year.
set the precedent for the rest of the year. You're right.
Yes. You know what, Mr. Reyna? I do that. My birthday's coming up.
Uh-huh.
It's on Thursday, and my wife is like, "What do you want to do?
Mhm.
You want to go out?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "No, I just want to have dinner here at home." And she's like, "What? Like, why? Like, why? Why is it that every year you just want to work and just come home and have dinner?" And it's like I tell her, like, I use my birthday if I am working on my birthday. And if I'm hustling and if I'm running around like a headless chicken all damn day on my birthday, that's a badass birthday to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and yeah, no, I agree. And so yeah, that's how I feel, and I love on the first day of every year to start the year with something positive, right?
Yeah.
And I remember in 2022, I said I did my morning jog, and probably half of the population was asleep, right?
Hungover, half dead.
Yeah. And
Half
so,
dead.
so I was out there, and I said, you know what? Well, so you asked at the beginning, how did the lumber store came about?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this is where it comes in, right?
Because Mr. Reyna's not just a builder; he's
Yeah.
also the owner of Riverside Materials, and I mean, I hear from a lot of people that it's going great.
Yes, it does. And so there's a story also behind that, right?
Let's hear it. That's why we're
So several years going back, I mean, the idea of opening a store started about 10 years ago. It was nothing new. And I made an attempt once in the past. Things didn't line up. Things didn't work out. And then I made an attempt a second time. Again, things didn't pan out. Things weren't right. Funding wasn't there. And in 2022, the 1st of January, I said, I need to do this project. I need to open up this business. It's something that I've been doing and that I've been wanting to do. And I want to do it before I'm 50. I was 47 at that time, right?
Okay.
In 2022, 47. Okay. And so I started working on a business plan, pitched it out to several banks for funding, partial funding. Partial was in-house funding as well. Started talking to people, key employees that were going to help me run the business. Everything turned out good. Started talking to providers also, the companies that provide your supply your lumber, your inside inventory stuff. Everything started lining up so nice and so cool, So 2022, all we did, we were simultaneously running the construction company, but also I was working in putting this new business together. So we started renovating our warehouse. It was a 5,000 square foot warehouse where we're at. and we converted it into a retail store. So that year, that's what I did. Lined up the funding, lined up the people.
Pero le quedó con madre ahí.
Quedó bonito.
Le quedó con
Sí,
madre.
sí, sí.
When I passed by, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, that's nice.
Quedó
It looks
bonito,
good. Yeah.
sí, sí. And so 2022 is over, and we jump into 2023.
Okay.
So we were ready. We didn't go live. We didn't open the doors right away. From January to all the way to April, 4 months, we were servicing only Reyna homes. And the reason we were only doing that, it was just to iron out all the glitches. You know, I didn't want to make those mistakes with clients, right?
No, you did.
So,
yeah.
so for 4 months, you know, fortunately, with our construction company, we've always had a demand in construction. There's never a shortage of bills, right? So I said, okay, so we're gonna learn this stuff with Reyna Homes, right? Anyways, if there's a delivery that's a little bit late, it's okay. It's me, right? It's not a big deal. Yeah, and so that's what we did. 4 months. In April of 2023, we opened the doors to the public, and it's been 2.5 years, and it's been tremendous.
That's
Everything
awesome.
is just been growth after that. One of the reasons is because I understand the builder, our customer, because I myself come from the same industry.
Right.
So all our culture around the store revolves around customer service and about servicing the builder. If we commit with you that we were going to have on Monday at 8 in the morning your lumber package,
Right.
we're going to have the lumber package at 8 in the morning, you know, no matter what. So we built the culture in our store with our yard workers, with our manager, assistant managers, and sales, and that's the primary thing, you know, and that helps us a lot. You know, it helps us a lot, and so we grew pretty quick within a span of 2.5 years.
No, for sure.
And so that's how that came about. But yeah, I mean, something very important here is that I think discipline and perseverance is very important in any business. In my opinion, I think that perseverance and discipline is more important than talents and skills.
Yes, sir.
Because if I would have not be persistent, or had desisted in not moving forward when we had these challenges in 2008 and in 2020 and in 2021, we wouldn't be here talking.
No, and now
You know.
now we have another challenge. Now we have ice, right?
Now we have another challenge, yeah, ice. But again, you know, compared to what we passed, I mean, it's tough, right? But we're gonna get over it.
But you know what, Mr. Reyna, it comes to show that, como dijo usted, not, on the outside everything looked perfect.
Yeah.
But it comes to show that there's real difficulties in, one, being your own business owner,
Yes.
and then two, actually being involved in the industry. And then you're not just involved in the industry, you're heavily involved in the industry, from supplying now and obviously your construction.
Mm-hmm.
But you can firsthand say, like, this is not sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, no, it is very tough. So you need to have a passion for what you're doing to be able to overcome all these challenges.
Yeah.
And again, you know, the word discipline and perseverance is so important in any undertaking. To me, that's like a superpower for a human being, because it allows you to move forward. And a lot of the times when you see businesses, just disappear, it's just because of the owners and the leaders, they desisted. They didn't wait long enough to see the reward, not knowing that maybe just a few more months the breakthrough was going to be there.
Right.
Just right around the corner, the reward that you were looking was there, and you
Right.
never find out because you quit.
Right.
So my advice is, anybody that's going through a personal problem or a challenge in business, don't quit. Keep on moving forward.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna overcome it. There's a quote that I really like, and I live by it. And having a business, we can relate to it. And that quote is from King Solomon, right? And it's the quote goes, "This too shall pass," right? And in times of challenges, and in times of when things are not going bad, it gives you hope,
Yeah.
right? Don't stop. Keep on going, because that's gonna pass,
Right.
right? And by the same token, that same quote applies to when things are going good. When things are going good and everything is fine and dandy, and your business is growing,
It's gonna pass.
that too is going to pass.
Yep.
So what that does is bring you humbleness and humility,
Yes, sir.
knowing that too is going to pass. So you know, for people that are there that are listening, going through a rough time, a rough patch, you know, don't quit. You keep on going.
Right.
Because more than likely your rewards are going to be, you know, probably right around the corner.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yep.
I'm a firm believer in that. And it took a lot of I like to use this reference, I'm very close to my mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this conversation with my mom where it's like, life has gotten me, body slammed me on the floor and hit me across the head with a bat multiple times because I probably wouldn't listen, and I wouldn't get a consejo, right, from my parents in my young years, in my 20s, right? And one thing that I've learned now I was like a late bloomer. I didn't really start getting into this form of thought until I had to hit rock bottom. Rock bottom. You know, almost like fucking died. Like I had to hit rock bottom, and I was driving home from Houston, and my mom stayed on the phone with me for 6 hours. I remember I pulled up to like a gas station. So I'm gonna put gas. Well, a lo que tengas que hacer, yo no me voy a quitar el teléfono. Oh shit. Okay, well, you know, and I had to get to that point to one, start appreciating life, and then make a mental switch, right? And one thing that I've learned is that if I don't stop, the way I see it is, I'm not the best at what I do, but I like to learn, and I don't give up. If I can't do it today, I'm gonna do it that afternoon. If I can't do it that afternoon, I'm gonna do it in the morning. And if I can't do it in the morning, I'm gonna do it that afternoon. If I can't, I'll do it at the end of the week. I don't give up. I do not allow myself to give up in any form of aspect, in anything. Now, as a father, I have a little girl, right? I'm programming her, because all we are is programs. I am programming her. She's going to be 2 in December. I am programming her now not to believe in any doubt. And I'm like, Leanna's a strong girl. Leanna's a smart girl. Leanna is brave. Leanna's smart. Leanna's brave. She does anything. Hey, agarra tus zapatos y llévalos al cuarto y ponlos donde deben de ir. She's 1.5, and she'll do it, and I'm like, good job, baby. You're a smart girl. But what I want her to never have that feeling of I'm giving up, because you're completely right. That is the most powerful thing, and that is what separates anybody. Some of the people that I've met that are truly very successful in this industry, I've had the pleasure of meeting some really, really good people. They don't see obstacles as forms of being stopped. They just see it as another thing they have to accomplish.
Yes.
That's how they see it.
Yes, it's very important not to stop, and very important to believe in ourselves. And I think that we usually operate under our full potential, you know. And when you overcome these challenges, it gives you that confidence that you need to believe in yourself more. And so therefore, you know, you reach a plateau, and you're working on that plateau, and you're growing and getting experience, and then you reach another level, and you always use that plateau to use it as a trampoline to jump to a higher plateau, right? But it's all believing about ourselves and in ourselves, and that we usually, all of us, operate under our true potential,
right?
You know, that's in my case. You know, I didn't believe I could do what we're doing, but every challenge that I overcame, it gave me that confidence to continue moving forward.
In a way, it seems like there's this book that I have. It's called The Way. It's right there. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. So one of the things that book says is, if you start to just observe your life and not try so much make the decision, but just go with the decision. Like, you already know what you want to do, and you just start flowing. You will actually allow your life to flourish.
Yeah. Well, action, it's what allows you to reach your potential. If you don't take action, nothing is going to happen.
Exactly.
And taking action is scary sometimes. Like I mentioned before, right? Yeah. Switching from being an employee to being self-employed, you know. But if I wouldn't have taken that leap of action, none of this would be possible, right? And so taking action is also super important in all of this. As scary as it is, right? It's calculated action, of course. You know, you're just not gonna take action left and right, you know, without thinking things, you know. But action is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, in every form,
Mhm.
from business to personal
Personal
relationships.
relationships, yeah,
It's
everything,
it's very important, and without
everything.
action, we won't see anything.
Hmm.
So what's next? What's next for Mr.
Well,
Reyna?
what's next is that we're going to start a development
Oh yes,
before the end of the year. We break ground. This development is in Stark County. It's in the city of Roma. It's our first development.
God's country. Just
Yeah. So yeah, we're very excited to be able to start this development. Is the From my understanding, it's the first development in the last 15 years. So it's been a while since anybody has invested in Roma. So we're excited that things came lined up for us, and we were able to get the support of the city of Roma. And shout out to the administration in Roma, the current administration
shout out to
for
Danny, right?
yes,
Shout out
everybody,
Danny.
the mayor, everybody, the city
Yes,
council for throwing the support behind this project.
that's
We have
awesome.
their blessing and their support, and we're gonna break ground, and hopefully we start selling lots and building homes the first quarter of next year.
That's awesome.
So that's something else that we're
Congratulations.
adding to the enterprises that we're doing to the ventures. So hopefully we'll have a land available, construction, and also be able to supply our own materials as
And
well.
just imagine that, like all of this came from one taking a leap of faith, and
Mhm.
who would have thought that now you're developing and selling your lots, and who would have thought that you own your own lumber company,
Mhm.
and one thing that you have told me is that you just don't supply the material for the builders that are purchasing from you, but you also have salesmen that are out on the ground, and
Mhm.
they're making sure that material is not being overly spent, and they're calculating things for the builder and trying to
Absolutely.
make it easier for
Yeah.
them.
On the side of the story, we have salespeople that are taking care of all our clients, our builders, and by the way, I want to add that I'm very grateful to the builder, our local builders in Stark County for their support, because when we opened the store, one of the concerns was, okay, how are the local builders going to react, in me opening a lumberyard store, since I'm in the market in the
Right.
same area, right?
Right. Que no
And
les pegue envidia o algo. Yeah.
I was a little bit, that
Uh,
was my only thing. I wasn't concerned. Are we gonna sell? How are we gonna? Are we gonna be able to figure things out? No, none of that stuff. Everything is learnable, right? Everything is learnable. My only concern was that, but it turned out that was a fake concern, because it was something. It turned out the opposite. We have the full support of the local builders, and we've created a very good relationship and friendship with the local builders. And again, a shout out and a thank you to all the local builders in Stark County for supporting us in the store.
Dude, and not just
Yeah,
that, your subs too.
yeah.
I recently met stucco one of the stucco guys, right?
Okay.
And I mean, everyone speaks so highly of you.
Mhm.
And he mentioned something as to like that you threw a birthday party. And he's
Yes.
like, no, hombre, todos estaban ahí, todos. Like, he's like, it was super packed. But it's like, I
Yeah.
told him, I was like, that's the type of respect, and that comes from what you did. It comes from like how you were like, I'm going to bite the bullet on this. I'm going to finish these houses. And it's like, it's being selfless, and people respect that.
Yes, I think that the respect, you earn it. You don't demand it,
Yeah.
and people respect you based on your trajectory, on your. In this case, we interact, and like when you're in the construction industry, you interact with so many different people. And one of the things that is very important in any business, but especially in this industry that we're in, because we meet so many people, customers, trades, other peers that are in the business, and one of the things is to be always transparent and
Right.
honest and have integrity in everything that we do, in every deal that we do,
Right.
and carry yourself in the most respectful way and professional way possible, right?
Right.
And I think that's very important. And over time, people start seeing that, well, that guy is just, straight up guy, and you start creating a reputation, a
Right.
good reputation. And so reputation is very, very important.
No, for sure.
Very important.
For sure.
Reputation can either break you or make you,
Yep.
and reputation sells for you as well.
Yes, sir.
Another thing, that we don't see reputation as being a sales agent for your business,
Right.
but it is a sales agent for your business, in my
Yes, sir.
opinion. It sells. The brand sells because they trust you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very important. Transparency and integrity and honesty in what we do. It is very, very important
Yep.
for all young builders starting. Look into that and apply that into the culture of your business.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go a long ways.
Yep.
We don't understand that honesty is probably the one of the best means of getting wealthy.
Never
I
heard
truly
that
believe.
one. That is awesome.
It is.
I was told
It
that
is.
honesty is a rare commodity nowadays.
It is a rare commodity, and it is one of the best ways to grow and to become successful.
You know.
Yep.
I believe it.
Yep. So yeah, that's the latest venture we're doing, the development, and we're hoping that we can continue expanding throughout Stark County and Hidalgo County at some point as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so honored to have this podcast. I know Ronnie couldn't make it today, but I want to thank you for making it, because I mean, I know it's a drive, but just to hear your story and to get a little glimpse of it, it's super cool. Because being around, being a kid, being a product of this industry, and with my parents being involved in it and whatnot, but I see all the signs, right? I see all the signs, and your company's been a sign that I've seen for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I would be sitting across from you. And it's kind of funny because everybody has like heroes or people that they look up to or whatnot, but I look up to people like yourself, and I look up to people that are not afraid to speak the truth and what they've been through,
Mm-hmm.
and to be brutally honest, and to be like, hey man, like, this is not all sunshine and rainbows.
It is not. No.
You're not going to start building homes
No.
and start driving Ferraris here.
No.
Like, this is the real deal. Like,
It's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work.
You gotta love it, and you gotta have a passion for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, you quit in the first challenge that you encounter.
Right.
And there you go. 2 years of building homes, and the first challenge that you encounter, you don't have the strength or the will to fight, to move forward, and you give up, and that's it.
No, for sure. It's a machine. The machine will chew you out.
Yeah.
It will spit you out.
Oh no, definitely. It beats you every day, every week, every month, every year, but we've been able to hang out all these years, and hopefully, God willing, with good health, hopefully we want to be around for a long, long time.
No, Mr. Reyna, I want to just say thank you for coming to the podcast, and for the people that don't know, Mr. Reyna here, like I said, he has two companies in STBA. He has Reyna Homes and then Riverside Materials. But he's also somebody that's going to be being a part of the government relations committee that we're starting here at STBA.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to start that. And thank you for accepting that. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, no, I mean, thank you again for inviting me. It is an honor to be able to share these stories. I've never shared this in public, and like you said, not ashamed of it. I'm the contrary. I'm very proud, and I hope that this story can encourage other people, other young entrepreneurs to overcome challenges. And I really hope that this conversation
take the gamble, right? Take the gamble.
Take the gamble, yeah. Take the gamble. Take the step. Take action. Move forward. Don't quit.
Yeah.
And I hope that this serves. Maybe there's somebody out there that needs a little bit of encouragement.
Shit, I'm pumped right now, bro.
And hopefully, hopefully, me sharing this, makes a difference, and that would be very, very cool for me. Very, very gratifying. If I hear the feedback that it helps somebody.
No, well, first off, it's very cool to have you on. It's also an honor to have you as a member. I hope that this podcast serves its justice and it gets out to the ears that need to hear it. And thank you, like, for real. I'm very grateful for you being a member, but very grateful for your time here today.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hope you all enjoy the podcast.